Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today we're going to be talking about Jasmy because we've received some really good news from Jasmy, a Christmas present I guess you could say from the Jasmy and Janction team, because they announced that Janction nodes are now going live, which is really good news. So I want to talk about that, also talk a little bit about some of the recent price action we've seen on the Jasmy chart, a lot of that type of stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. So starting out, what we can see on crypto bubbles is, of course, today we've seen a pretty down day. Yesterday, we did see a little bit of a relief bounce, but most of those gains have been given back, at least from what we've seen so far. The majority of the tokens going up are exchange tokens, which I think is kind of interesting. We can see FTX token here, OKB here, BGB here, HTX here. The only ones that are up that are not exchange tokens, we can see Hyperliquid just barely, GT a little bit, and also Pengu. Everything else pretty much down between 5 to 8% on the day is kind of what we're seeing. You see Jasmy 7.1% here, ICP 7.3. We just did a video on XRP down 5.4%. So I mean, kind of like I said, that 5 to 8% range is kind of a lot of what we're seeing so far. So moving on though to look at the Jasmy chart, I did want to take a look at what we're seeing here. And obviously we can see a really nice move to the upside. We've seen a pretty decent move back, about 50%-ish roughly. We did see a pretty nice move to the upside. It looked like we might have been able to kind of settle on this 4-cent range and maybe hopefully put some level of volume in here to develop the support. That didn't happen. Obviously, we saw, we're seeing things come back down. If I had to guess at this point in time, we probably see it come back all the way down to this 3.2 cent-ish range. That's just kind of how things are looking. Obviously it is possible that we potentially see a bounce here because we do see a little bit of some like resistance and liquidity points here at this level. It's possible that we put in a bottom here and continue back up. Obviously that would probably be better because then we're seeing, kind of the uptrend reestablishing, at least on kind of the more micro trend. We can see there's been a little bit of a downtrend being established here with lower highs and lower lows coming in. Obviously, we're expecting that to change and there to be some level of bounce at some point. What we are ultimately looking for is kind of some consolidation after this big move to the upside, right? Obviously, we saw a really strong move up. We've now are essentially starting to like consolidate, and then at that point, I would imagine we start to see another move to the upside. But overall, I mean, this is kind of looking like a bit of a bull trap if we are seeing. I mean, this is kind of market wide. We saw a little bit of a bounce. People, I think, maybe got a little bit excited, and now we're starting to see a little bit of that pullback. Again, this is kind of what we were expecting to see. This kind of bounce that we saw, in my opinion, was not kind of on my bingo card. This was fairly unexpected. I was expecting us to see a little bit more like consolidation, not really too much movement, maybe even continued moves to the downside. This move I think took a lot of people by surprise. And so overall, that's kind of what we're seeing on the Jasmy chart overall. As we can see, we did break through kind of this trend line to the downside, and so we are looking to kind of establish some other sort of structure here. Hopefully, a little bit more of some bullish structure, but with what we've been seeing so far, that's kind of how things are looking. If you are looking to trade Jasmy, Sui, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, whatever, feel free to use my link in the description below. I am working with BTCC, and in addition to the extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user, they are giving you a 10% bonus on first-time deposits, which is really good. Obviously, these bonuses are like based on volume and all this other type of stuff, but this 10% bonus on first-time deposits is guaranteed. So, for example, if you were to deposit $10,000 into BTCC, they'd be giving you $1,000 to trade on, and then let's say you take that $1,000 and double it. Well, that $2,000 is now yours to do whatever you want with. So really good deal if you are looking for a new place to trade, or even if you're looking for maybe like a secondary exchange to maybe diversify kind of where you're trading a little bit. We can see they've been around for 13 years, so the risk of them being kind of like a here today, gone tomorrow type of exchange is pretty low overall. Also, they've got 300 plus crypto futures, so if there's anything you're looking to trade, they probably have it. They also have up to 500x leverage. Again, I'd strongly discourage leverage this high, particularly if you aren't very familiar with how to use it. Anything above 10 to 20x gets exceedingly risky, and overall, I mean, just trading leverage at all is exceedingly risky. So you really need to make sure that you know what you're doing and you're not getting too far ahead of yourself. Also, no VPN or KYC necessary. So if that is something that you are interested in, then obviously they have that ability as well. So like I said, if you are interested, maybe looking to find a new exchange or even diversify, have a secondary or even a third exchange, feel free to use my link in the description below and get that 10% bonus on your first time deposits. Now moving on, I want to take a look at at this news post that we saw from Janction that they have actually launched the MyNode web platform, which is really, really awesome. We can see it should be already live at this point because it was 5 o'clock Japan time, which we are now past that on December 26th. So this should be out and live. Look, really, really great news. We can actually, if we go back, we can see that Hara actually commented on this as well. So this is really awesome to see. Of course, it's really good that the Jasmy team is continuing to build. We've been talking about this for weeks and months at this point in time, is even though they are relatively bad at giving somewhat like consistent news updates, they obviously are building and they are delivering. And so I'm very interested to see kind of how this ends up working out, some of the adoption that we see, a lot of that type of stuff, because ultimately, you know, Janction, in my opinion, is building something that could be very, very, very successful within this crypto kind of bull run or this cycle overall, just because AI has been so strong. I think a lot of people kind of taking back their own data, things like that, in my opinion, it's super, super important, but I don't know that that's really like a super strong need or something that people are really super passionate about at this point, which is why I think the overall Jasmy platform maybe, you know, not getting as much publicity or catching the narrative as much as they might want. But the Janction platform, however, I mean, the only thing people can talk about right now is AI, basically. And honestly, like, for a good reason. I'm not saying it's overblown or anything. I think AI, particularly some of these AI agents and platforms and whatnot that we're seeing, could be truly revolutionary. And so definitely, like, the narrative is there, and it's there for good reason. And so the fact that Janction is finally starting to move, they're starting to get like their node platforms out. Hopefully we start to see the marketplace coming here soon. Some of the, like, essentially more developments in that type of arena, I think would be really, really good to see. So overall, you know, really great news that the Janction is continuing to kind of progress and move along. Obviously, you know, I'd love to see some faster development there just because of where we're at within the cycle. But overall, I mean, things looking good. We're seeing Jasmy moving. Obviously, you know, the lack of development or the speed of development is not really hurting price so far. And I think that's primarily just because of all of the, like, partnerships that they've developed and the governments that they have connections with. Obviously, they're super, super connected in Japan, and they're kind of starting to reach out into South Korea as well. So there's a lot of different things that the Jasmy team is doing, and a lot of value that they are essentially starting to build up, even though the platform may be a little bit further behind what some of the other ones are. So overall, I do think this is a really, really good thing to see. I'm pleased overall, you know, obviously with the news, like I said, you know, kind of like a Christmas present for those of us who are Jasmy fans. Things looking really good. Hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and subscribe, because it really does help me out. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, just feel free to drop it in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of those, so if you have anything you want me to see, that'd be a great way to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.